to take you all the way to the top of the hour and the start of the service. I want to show you this spot about our app that you might want to get. God bless you, everybody.
Welcome to the all-new Kenneth Copeland Ministries app, your go-to resource for faith. A resource full of inspiring articles, audio teachings, and a daily devotional made to support your daily walk in faith. You can also watch the Believer's Voice of Victory and the Victory Channel live, designed to teach believers worldwide who they are in Christ. Everything you need to grow your faith, all in one place.
Good morning, friends. It is so good to see you this morning. I'm Shay Wilbur. I've been hanging out with you all week, and we are on day 3 officially. I had to think about that for a second because I feel like we're just on autopilot now. Day 3 of the Southwest Believers Convention. I have been corrected by my friend that is joining me here in just a second. Actually, I'll bring you in right now. Sean Wood, you are the PR and SEO lead here at KCM.
Yes.
And he was teasing me earlier because I kept saying conference. I did correct myself yesterday.
You did
I said, no, convention. We're in a convention center.
Yeah.
And this truly is so much bigger than a conference.
Oh, it's crazy.
So
it's crazy.
What would you say kind of differentiates the two? Let's just start there.
Well, one, did you know there are only 3 other Christian conferences in American history that have gone on longer than 46 years?
Wow.
Consecutively, we are number 4.
That's
incredible. That shows the tenure, the longevity, and the anointing that is on this conference.
Yeah.
It's amazing. See, I can say conference, you can't.
Hey. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to start a tally. Every time you say, we need to get like a dinger or a buzzer or something.
Yep.
We need a buzzer up here. And every time someone says conference. But anyway, that truly is incredible. And like you just said, it speaks to the anointing on this ministry. And not many people can say, number one, that they have had the finances to keep something going for 46 years of this scale and get bigger and bigger, but also that people attended.
Yeah.
Because you can want to do something for 40 years, but if people don't show up, then, I mean, what are you really, you can't keep doing it.
Last year was the first year that we eclipsed pre-COVID numbers.
Wow.
And you knew then something was happening. Last year, people from, I believe, all 50 states and 54 countries and territories around the world showed up.
Wow.
We've eclipsed that number.
That's incredible.
God is faithful to do something here. Partially because of the faithfulness that Kenneth and Gloria Copeland has shown through the years to keep it here. Fort Worth has been their home. Fort Worth is our home, hence homecoming.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just nice that we're able to fill this place and give it to the glory of God.
That's so good. You know, post-COVID, I think I heard a statistic that I think 1/3 or 2/3 of churches, basically if you closed during COVID, a good majority of them did not reopen afterwards. So it's so incredible to hear that a ministry like this, that they've now eclipsed the numbers that were even pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And what the enemy tried to use against the body of believers.
That's right.
It's crazy. Pastor Shuttlesworth spoke on it last night and was just talking about, and really helped me adjust my thinking, not only to the incredible place that we find ourselves in as a nation.
Yeah.
In this day and age, you know, I think we tend to see headlines that scare us, especially here living in Texas and with the influx of Islam and all of this. But yesterday, what Pastor Shuttlesworth was preaching on just said, okay, the enemy thinks that he's going to come over here, infiltrate Texas, infiltrate America with all of these immigrants, but actually they're going to hear the gospel.
Right.
They're going to hear the gospel, and then they're all going to get saved here. And I was like, wow, what a great way to turn the tables on the enemy, just like we did after COVID and even during COVID, because a lot of churches also didn't shut down. I don't know, my church, at Open Door Church in Burleson, Texas, they said, come, if you're sick, come, we'll pray for you. And that's what I know a lot of churches and Word of Faith churches especially did. So it's just so cool that we're in a season where I feel like the tables are being turned on the enemy.
Right, they are.
And what he meant for evil, we're gonna use for good.
Amen.
It's so awesome. Okay, so this conference is attended by people from all over the world. I mean, we've got Africa here. I talk to people from all over the United States, from Canada. What do you think it is that keeps them coming back every single year?
It's because something is actually different here. Even though it's been going on for 46 years, you would think it's the same, but it's not. Yeah. Something different happens every single year, whether it's healing, a breakout of financial prosperity, whether it's people just getting restored and refreshed. Something different happens, and everybody knows it. Despite the speakers sometimes being the same, they all come with a fresh word. And that is something that God can really use for his glory.
That's awesome. Well, I feel like I need to share a testimony now. I didn't get to tell you this backstage, but this is my first year hosting with my Victory family, and I prayed going into this week. I said, Lord, they don't know me. Yeah. I know them. I've grown up watching and listening to many of the ministries associated with KCM here. But I just prayed. I'm like, Lord, let this be more than just me coming and getting in front of a camera and talking and helping connect dots throughout the week. Right. And I really believe God had a purpose for me and my family here. Mm-hmm. And I came expectant to receive something from the Lord, you know? Yeah. This isn't just work. There's so much more to what we do here. And yesterday I went home. I was so stirred by the messages I've been hearing just over the past couple days to talk to my kids more about the Lord. Because I grew up with, I feel like I had such an understanding from a very young age of you are the next generation. Mm-hmm. You've got something to carry. And I know that's a big part of your heart and how you're connected to this ministry with bringing things into the digital age here. But my oldest is 7, and I sat with him and I was tucking him in last night, and I just said, Shiloh, God has you here for a purpose. He has a special purpose for your life. I know we talk about God. We pray to him every night before bed. And he said, Mom, what does purpose mean? And I said, well, God put you here to accomplish something that no one else could accomplish. Right. He has a plan for your life. And he said, well, how can I be sure that he's in my heart? And I said, oh my God, of course, I'm like already starting like the tears as a mom. And I'm like, well, you did pray to receive Jesus when you were little, but do you want to pray again just to make sure? And he said, yeah, I do, because I really want to make sure that he's in my heart. And so of course we sat there and we prayed the prayer, and afterwards he gave me the biggest hug. And of course I'm crying, and I'm trying not to cry now, just even retelling it.
Just blubbering.
Yeah, I mean, this, like, as a parent, this is the ultimate. I don't know. Do you have kids?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's the ultimate to have your kids follow the Lord. That's all they want, and to love God. And afterwards, he held me so tight. And it was one of those long hugs where he didn't let go. Yeah. And when he finally did let go, and I looked at him, he had the biggest smile on his face, and he just lost a tooth 2 days ago. So he had this big gaping hole in the front of his mouth. The biggest smile, like he could barely see out of his eyes. He was squinting so much. And I said, how do you feel, Shiloh? Because you look different. Yeah. And he said, Mom, I just feel free. Wow. And I get chills now talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, the power of God is so intense. It's so special. There's nothing like it. And then he followed that up with, and I know that God forgives me of my sins and when I mess up. And I said, yeah, you get a clean slate. Wow. You get a clean slate. And it just reminded me so much that when you attend this convention, when you are here, whether you've got your whole family here, whether you're a husband believing for your wife or a wife believing for your husband, or your kids are home, it doesn't matter. Yeah. If you are here, if you are watching from home, God has something for you and your family. So don't just come and think you're receiving for you. Right. You're receiving for everyone around you. And, we're talking about what keeps people coming back. Mm-hmm. It's stuff like that. Like, I'm forever changed by a word I heard last year. And now this, I'm like, wow, God is he's doing something so special. When you take your time and set a week aside. Yeah. So, okay, that just brings me to another question. It's very rare you have a conference that is wall-to-wall for 1 week. Right. So in the world of, marketing and all of those things, is that something that people try to kind of shy away from because, like, they actually don't think people would engage for that entire time? Like, it's a really special thing that we have.
It tends to be 2 and 3 day. That's the sweet spot
like
for it.
A long weekend, something like that.
And then when it's something more lengthy like this, people pick and choose. Yeah. Like, well, I'll show up on Tuesday and I'll leave on Thursday. Yeah. You can't do that.
Can't.
Because you'll end up watching the TV on replay and going, oh, I could have been there.
I know. I've been here, and I'm still watching the morning when I'm getting ready. I'm watching the moments that I missed from the day, because, we're up here, so we don't get to actually sit in everything. But I mean, guys, the lineups every single day, what session could you miss? Today we have Mac Hammond, we have Brother Copeland, we have Pastor Bill Johnson, Pastor Jonathan Shuttlesworth, and Creflo Dollar. That's just our evening sessions, okay? That's insane. I mean, there is nowhere else that you could go and get all of these fathers, these generals of the faith. We actually have a booth in the Expo Center here, and it says Generals of the Faith, and it has, you know, Kenneth Hagin and a bunch of, it's a great shirt. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I saw it. I was like, man, that is genius. I love that.
It's like the Hall of Fame of faith.
It is. Like, if it, you know, we should get it like in stone somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But man, it's so cool. So you really don't want to miss a thing. And it's been really fun hanging with all of you for this Victory Channel takeover. Was that your idea?
No, no, well, it's not my idea.
Well, it was a good one. It was a good one. You guys have an incredible team, because all of your favorite Victory programs are live, happening on this stage the entire conference, and we've actually got bleachers on either side. So if you've ever wondered what it would be like to be watching Victory News live, or Unclassified, or John Copeland's podcast, I mean, you can literally do it by getting here, getting to the Expo Center, and just actually sitting and watching. It's been a really, really unique experience this year.
In my line of work, I tell stories.
Yeah.
I'm a storyteller. I like to tell people I'm the chief storyteller here.
Yeah.
And you miss the stories if you're not here in the room. Yeah, you can watch everything that we're doing online, but there's nothing like being here. Like you said, you get a clean slate. We serve an Etch-a-Sketch type God. We just shake that thing and it's clean. And that's what you learn when you're part of this story here that we've been making for 46 years.
Yeah, that's so good. What is one thing, I mean, I think it's so interesting how you kind of have your finger on the pulse of the digital age, and because we're all here trying to keep up with it. I'm trying to keep up with it so that when my kids are doing things in that world, that I know what's going on. So what's something that you think ministries and Christians miss? Because it really is so important to have a grasp on this digital age if you're going to reach the next generation.
It's important to know what the next generation is doing.
Yes.
You want to be able to tell your story the way they want to read it, not the way you want to say it. There's so much bubble talk in our circles, and we tend to forget who we're talking to. You know, you come to this convention and you say, well, do you know this pastor? Do you know that pastor? There's a lot of people that don't know anybody. Kenneth Copeland doesn't even have a name with some people.
Yeah.
And as awe-striking as that is to us, it's true. So you should start every day knowing you're going to talk to somebody who might not know your story. Everyone has a story to tell, and God gave it to them. And if they learn that and learn how to tell that story to the right people, it's winning souls every day of your life.
So what is it that you think, that's so good. That was so good. What is it that you think makes people stop scrolling? What is it?
Well, in my line of work, it's headlines.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have that headline in 12-inch font, and it can't be something that they hear all the time.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to shock them. And that shock value does help. When you say things like, we are the fourth longest conference of all time.
It's crazy.
That makes people go, that can't be right. No, it is right.
Wow.
So it allows people just to open their minds a little, and that makes them scroll a little bit more.
Awesome. Well, what's something that God has been speaking to you personally about through this whole process in this season today?
How to help people understand what we're doing. For so long, Kenneth Copeland has been making news, but no one has known his story. And yes, he's selling his book, and it's going to be fantastic. But we are making stories and making news every day. We just have to let the world read it so they understand what's really happening, so they don't listen to all the blather online. They hear what God is really doing and take that to the bank.
That's so good. So good. In a day and age when it's all about the headlines,
right?
It's really time for us as believers to take that narrative back.
That's right.
To take it back and to own it and say, hey, this is the truth. The truth is miracles are happening. The truth is lives are being changed every day. And I love, you know, one of the core values of this ministry is just one experience with God can change your life forever. So we believe that for every single person watching today, you can have that one experience in your life, this moment, this morning, today, that changes your life forever. So you are here for such a time as this. God has something for you this morning. I don't know what you're going through in your life. I don't know if you just have this kind of on in the background and you're like, well, I'll just put it on and I'll just see if I get something. Let me assure you, pay attention. God is speaking to you and he has something for you today, guys. We are just getting started. We've got stuff going on all day. This morning we have Mac Hammond and Brother Copeland. So, I mean, you tuned in at the right time. We have Bill Johnson coming up later, Jonathan Shuttlesworth, Creflo Dollar. Guys, it's going to be a good day. And listen, if you need prayer at all throughout the day, throughout our sessions, you can call 817-852-6000. The number is right there on your screen. But I think it's about time we head on into the service and get ready to worship the Lord. We'll see you guys later.
As many as 10,000 believers have come to Fort Worth for the Believers Convention. It's sponsored by the Kenneth Copeland Ministries. There are visitors from all 50 states and from a dozen foreign countries as well. The parking lot of the Tarrant County Convention Center has become a small village, and the inhabitants have one thing in common. They believe.
We came from Ohio for this. We came to get what's here. It's vital.
Did you ever think you'd be spending your vacation in Fort Worth, Texas?
No, not really.
They're hungry for the Word, and the world is hungry for the Word, and this is where they get it.
This year's live coverage is expected to reach 1 million people or more, but some conventioneers don't think watching it on television could compare. As one very enthusiastic listener put it, coming to Fort Worth for this event is probably the next best thing to going to heaven.
There is a place every heart longs for. Not simply a destination, but a place where faith awakens, where heaven feels near, where hope is restored. Home. There's something special about coming home. Not because the house looks the same, but because the moment you arrive, you remember who you are. You remember the moments that changed you, the voices that encouraged you, the people who walked beside you. And even after all this time, it still feels familiar. Our home is where faith is strengthened, where hope is restored, where hearts are reminded that God's promises still stand, where generations come together around His Word, where faith fills the atmosphere. There is a reason we tell the stories, a reason we remember the moments, the breakthrough, the healing, the unexpected provision. Today, we become part of that same story, not beginning something new, but stepping into something eternal. This is more than another convention. This is more than another gathering. This is a homecoming.
Well, good morning, everybody. testify to the faithfulness of God. And I love telling people this: if you build your life on the Word of God, you have a 100% chance of success, because it's not just that He won't fail, He cannot fail. Come on, lift your hands all over the room. Let's just be thankful this morning. Father of kindness, you have poured out grace. You brought me out of darkness. You have filled me with peace. Giver of mercy, you're my help in time of need. Lord, I can't help but sing. Come on, testify with me. Faithful you are, and faithful forever you will be. Faithful you are. All your promises are yes and amen. All your promises are yes and amen. Yeah. Oh, we thank you, Lord. All your promises are true, God. And beautiful Savior, you have brought me near. You pulled me from the ashes. You have broken every curse. Blessed Redeemer, you have set this captive free. And Lord, I can't help but sing. Faithful you are, and faithful forever you will be. Faithful you are. All your promises, all your promises are. Come on, declare it this morning. All your promises are yes and amen. And faithful you are. Faithful forever you will be. Faithful you are. All your promises are yes and amen. All your promises are yes and amen. God, we know it's true. You're the faithful God. I will rest in your promises. My confidence is in your faithfulness. Yeah, I will rest in your promises. Oh, my confidence is in your faithfulness. Yeah, I will rest in your promises. My confidence is in your faithfulness. Yeah, I will rest in your promises. My confidence is in your faithfulness. would you join me in welcoming Brother Mac Hammond?
Well, hallelujah. Glory to God. Amen. Amen. You may be seated. Because I probably don't know some of you, I should introduce myself. My name is Mac Hammond. My wife Lynn and I have pastored in Minneapolis, Minnesota for 45 years. And of course, you know, we've become good friends with the Copelands over a long period of time, and I'm on the board of directors of KCM. And I just want to say it is truly an honor and a privilege for me to be able to share with you at the Southwest Believers Convention. Hallelujah. Glory to God. Well, first of all, thanks to Kenneth and to the KCM staff for giving me this honor and giving me this privilege. I am totally blessed to be here. And of course, a little self-promotion is probably in order, meaning promotion of the Word. I have a new book on our book table out there called The Fight for Your Faith. And I think it's an important message and a timely one. We need to know the enemy's strategies and tactics and our response to them. But what I love about the book, the graphic arts department came up with a picture of an RF-101 sitting on the front of it there. And that's the airplane I flew longest in the military. But essentially, my military flying in my Air Force career was focused on two airplanes. I got to fly heavies in terms of the KC-135, a Boeing 707 with extra centerline fuel tanks for air-to-air refueling. And I got to fly fighters. I got to fly the RF-101, which is pictured here. And I got the privilege of doing something that usually isn't done, and that's flying under different commands. I came out of pilot training, and my class got a block assignment to SAC, the Strategic Air Command, which basically meant you'd either fly the B-52 or the KC-135. I chose the 135 because Boeing 707s, you know, that was the primary airplane airlines used, so I'd be preparing myself for that option at a later time. And the testimony that I want to share to honor Kenneth's request had to do with my one of my assignments to Southeast Asia, and happened to be in the KC-135. I was assigned to the forces conducting strikes over North Vietnam, which at that time, in 66, 67, was the most heavily defended airspace that has ever existed in aviation history. It was a tough assignment. A typical strike force consisted of 4 KC-135s or tankers, each tanker having 4 chicks or fighter bombers. Then it was the F-105 that were doing the actual bombing. We typically meet up with them in an anchor orbit right on the North Vietnamese border, post-strike refuel them, wait for them to come off the target and do pre-strike refueling. So our airplanes were always loaded to the max. Fuel was always in demand, as you might suspect, and so we typically left with 200,000 pounds of fuel on board, meaning we were a time bomb if anything went awry. And in Southeast Asia, temperatures are always high. There was this one particular mission that turned out to be one of the 3 seminal moments I had during my military flying. We rolled at maximum gross weight, and the joke was you didn't need to do any flight planning because you just used the whole runway, saved enough for rotation. It was that tight. And so as this particular morning, we rolled and, of course, accelerated to our rotation speed, which is about 175 knots. And at that point in time, things just went unbelievably haywire. The number one engine, there are 4 throttles there, slammed into cutoff. There's a cable connection with the engine itself, but that didn't register with me at that moment, because when the throttle slammed into cutoff, bells and whistles of every sort started going off, flashing lights, and hydraulic failure, fire warning, all of this, information overload at one of the most crucial moments in a flight profile, right at rotation. And we learned a few moments later, after scanning, that we had actually lost the number one engine, not only in the sense of its failure, but it had torn itself off the airplane. And it tore not only the engine off, but the pylon that held it, and the pylon took part of the wing. And so all this occurred right at rotation. We're probably 10 feet off the ground at that point, when you needed every ounce of thrust you could get. And so we staggered out over the rice paddies at about 10 feet in something called ground effect. You get a heavy airplane, it compresses the air under it, and if you're close enough to the ground, it actually provides you a little cushion. And that was the only thing that was keeping us aloft at that point. We were in ground effect, staggering out over the rice paddy, trying to figure out what had just happened. And in this moment, you've got split seconds to make life or death decisions. You've got to get the airplane cleaned up in order for it to accelerate. And so, lots needed to be done very quickly. The gear brought up, the flaps starting to be milked up. And it was at this point that time literally slowed down. It didn't seem that we would have had time to do all of these things just in that precarious position 10 feet above the ground with 200,000 pounds of jet fuel on it. But time slowed down. And coincidental with the time seeming to slow down, all of a sudden we had plenty of time to raise the gear, to milk the flaps up, to get the airplane clean so we could begin accelerating. We're not talking much time, but the time slowed down. And in retrospect, as I became aware of the Word of God in more depth than I had at that time, I had been saved as a 12-year-old Baptist boy in a revival, but we never had the Word. The only thing I knew was that I had God. I had Jesus as my Lord. That was it. And so for me, later, as I learned the Word, the second element of the testimony became more clear, because the entire cockpit seemed to have a greenish tint to it, which I learned later is often in evidence with the manifestation of God's glory. So I know in my heart that at that moment in time, the presence of God was so manifest in that cockpit that time actually slowed down and enabled us to do what was needed in order to fly out of that, which we did. We came around and landed. And I call it one of 3 seminal moments I had during my military flying. It was the first where I felt like my destiny had been changed. That's really what a seminal moment is. I may not have had time to even put it in words at that moment, But in my heart, and once later with the words of my mouth, I said, Lord, you get me out of this and I'll serve you. And he did all 3 times. And it's like, at that early stage of my life, learned that there was something more for me with the Lord, and it involved serving Him. 15 years later, we wound up, beginning our church, starting our church in Minneapolis, and with a dozen people. And of course, the testimony since then has been one of His grace, enabling the ministry to grow and for us to do things that we're doing today. So that's my testimony. I told Brother Copeland that I would share with you. And I'm going to go on with the plan for this morning. I do want to take a minute and welcome our Daystar audience. We want to welcome you to our convention today, and thank you for being part of this time with us. Now, normally in my preaching back home, I usually tell a joke, maybe 2, because merry heart doeth good like a medicine. So, but I don't know if I have time for that now. You may be deprived of your joke because of time constraints. Oh, I heard a few people say, no, I don't need a lot of encouragement in this. But you have to remember, it's only courtesy to laugh at a guy's joke. So do that by faith if you have to. I'll do a couple of quickies. Did you hear about the atheist that had dyslexia? He didn't believe in dogs. My wife always says, people don't laugh at my jokes, they laugh at me laughing at my jokes. But then one more real quick. Do you know what you get when you cross an atheist with a Jehovah's Witness? Somebody who knocks on doors for no apparent reason. Well, enough of this. I think we need to pray and get back in the Spirit for a moment. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to delve into your word, into the mysteries that we can only experience revelation of through your Holy Spirit. I thank you for this time in the word today, and I declare that your utterance will produce the desired result for everybody that is in this congregation this morning or watching online. We are grateful to be able to come to you in this way. We thank you in advance that we'll all be changed by this time with you. Amen. Now, I'm going to introduce the message by saying I had a really tough time figuring out what to call it, what kind of title to put on it. I thought about the big picture. I thought about empowerment. And I thought about Israel. Now, these 3 things may seem to make strange bedfellows, to use a cliche, but by the end of the time together, I hope we see how they've all tied together in a meaningful fashion. I want to begin by defining a couple of those terms. Empowerment, one of the titles I considered giving this, has to do with the application of God's ability to ours. Because if we're left to our own human resource, we're not going to get a lot of great things done in the kingdom of God. To realize His high purpose for our individual lives or collectively as the body of Christ, we're going to need His empowerment. Now, most people think of empowerment in terms of the baptism of the Holy Spirit. That is the endowment of power from on high that is intended to make us witnesses for Him, to equip us to be able to be witnesses for Him effectively in this earth. So that is certainly a power source. And for believers, the Holy Spirit has another vital ministry, and that's revelation to us of the will of God for our particular lives. Another series of sermons all by itself. So the Holy Spirit is one way the provision of God's ability is made available to us. Faith is the other. The Bible says in Ephesians 1:19, there's an exceeding greatness of power to usward who believe. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead. You can resurrect any dead circumstance in your life if you learn how to apply that power. I want to say to you, there's a difference between being endued with power or growing in faith and increasing the reservoir of power within you that can accomplish any purpose that needs accomplishing in your life. There's a difference between that and the application of the power. I know in my own life and the lives of many other people that over the decades I've pastored who believe with all of their heart. They're filled with the Holy Ghost and they believe. And yet there are things that it does not seem God enables them to get over. It could be years of wrestling with a physical infirmity of some sort, a sickness or a disease. It could be years of wrestling with never having enough to even pay your bills. And yet the Bible says that healing is ours. By the stripes of Jesus you were healed, therefore you are healed. Yet the Bible says that God's into our financial equipping. He wants us to have all sufficiency in all things so we can abound to every good work. He wants our relationships to function properly. And of course, that's where the royal law of love begins to come in. But yet, even though there are times I know I've got the Holy Ghost and I know that I believe, there are countless people I've talked to with questions of me about why is this not happening for me? Where is the enabling ability of the Holy Spirit? Where is the power? And you have the power, but you have to know how to apply it. And so I think the consideration that needs to be in the forefront of our thinking when it comes to enabling God to empower us is purpose. God empowers us to pursue or perform His purpose. And too often our agenda is purely subjective. We want our healing. We want our finances. We want our relationships to be less contentious and therefore things more peaceful for us. We want. We get a clue about this when the Bible says faith only works by love. Love isn't a feeling. It is the necessity to turn your life outward so that it's to someone else's benefit. And so that would suggest to us that the purpose of God for us to tap into the power of faith is for us not to be absorbed in our motivation to have these promises of God met for us so we can get healed and be a happy, fat couch potato. No. Or so that we can have more than enough in the financial arena and then get all of that pressure of not being able to pay our bills off of us. No. We know that His higher purpose for these things is something else entirely. Now, often He will intervene just because He loves you and He's a merciful God. And even though your motivation may be wrong, your believing may even be wrong. But the gifts of the Spirit will operate, which is as the Spirit wills, not as you will. And a gift of healing will show up. Not able to believe for it, perhaps didn't even know it was yours, but He'll do it anyway because He loves you and He's a merciful God. But He expects us to choose life and blessing instead of death and cursing. He says in Deuteronomy, He's placed before us this day life and blessing, death and cursing. then goes on to say, choose life. But the point is, the choice is yours. When you experience a negative, it's not God trying to chasten you or teach you a lesson. It's because of a choice you've made. Now, there are occasions when we face adversity and haven't made a wrong choice, because there's an enemy out there whose goal is to inhibit the unfolding of God's plan in the earth, one believer at a time. So he will resist. Some adversity you experience will be just because of that. But you need to know and be thinking about, I get to choose. God honors my free moral agency. That's the way He created me. So the first place you begin to examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith, is what kind of choices have I been making? Nobody consciously chooses death and cursing, so that means the deceiver has gotten in somewhere and you're not seeing something quite right and you made a wrong choice. That's the first point of examination we're to make. Boy, I'm getting too wordy. I've got a lot to cover. But I want you to understand that empowerment refers to, as much as being baptized in the Holy Ghost and growing in your faith, the power sources of God for the believer, and that power is available to you, no doubt about it. But even so, you need to apply that power, and you need to do so by aligning your purpose with God's purpose. And the higher God's purpose that you align your life with, the more of His empowerment you're going to tap into. And so it becomes about, you're identifying God's purpose for your life. And as I've already said, that's a whole series of teachings in and of itself. But I believe with the Holy Spirit, you have the ability to begin filling in those blocks, those answers that the written word may not fill in. What is the high calling for your life? What is, the steps of preparation I'm to take and the marks that will enable me to press toward that high calling? These are the kinds of things that are part of growing in Him and growing in the knowledge of Him. But empowerment, most basically, involves aligning your purpose with His high purpose. And there's some of that high purpose that relates to your calling. It's unique because every believer is unique. There's part of that high purpose that relates to, say, a company of believers or a church that has been placed by God in a particular community. There's part of the high purpose that exceeds that and becomes dispensational. So these are different kinds of high purposes that we can access and that a lot of people don't realize the need to access. And then beyond God's dispensational purposes, we have the eternal purpose of God, His high purpose for the eternal ages to come. And that might seem a little intimidating because, we don't even know His high purpose for our life yet. How am I supposed to understand the high purpose of God for me in the eternal ages to come? But that's what He says we must know. This is the big picture. And that's one of the reasons I almost call this message the big picture. There's a larger context of understanding we all need to cultivate that provides us with the ability to better see the thing that we need to do now. Once I preached on the big picture a long time ago, 30 years. I preached on the big picture by saying it's analogous to a jigsaw puzzle. You always have the big picture of the finished product on the box top, so you've got at least a chance of finding the right place for all the 2,000 puzzle pieces that are within. And I think the same is true for us. We need to have a big picture understanding of God's purpose for the little smaller puzzle pieces of our life. What are we doing now? Where do we go today? How do I fit into my local company? What about the dispensational purpose of God for the whole body of Christ? Well, you need a big picture understanding to make sense out of all of the little puzzle pieces of your life. And so that larger context will make sense out of a lot of things that don't seem to make sense sometimes. Well, the Bible says by the stripes of Jesus, I'm healed. And I've decided to believe that, so why am I not getting healed? Well, again, how much of the larger context do you see? Is it about your being comfortable, free of pain or distraction of infirmity? Is it so you can be happier running around, more comfortable running around doing your thing? No, he wants you healthy, aside from loving you. And he often intervenes by his sovereignty anyway, the gifts of the Spirit. He wants you healthy so you can be his feet, his hands, and his mouthpiece. Because the more complete you are, the more able, and the more your life is a testimony to him. So don't want to get too bogged down by that. But everything has a big picture. A bigger picture than the Word is able to describe in depth to us. So how in the world do we get that bigger picture? Well, of course, this is part of the Holy Spirit's ministry of revelation. But we have to cooperate with his ministry of revelation. There's a passage that a lot of these I'm going to refer to, and you can look them up later for yourself in the interest of time. But in Isaiah 1:18, the Lord said something that, man, it triggered something in me decades ago, and it took me a while to get my understanding of what he's talking about. But he says in Isaiah 1:18, "Come, let us reason together." Now, for many Christians, you check your reasoning ability in at the counter when you get born again. Because reason often seems to be an enemy of faith. But that's only if it's worldly reasoning. Now, I would use as an example, science is important, to unearthing truths that will help us better accommodate this natural physical life. Science or empiricism is defined as the validation or invalidation of a hypothesis through observation and experimentation. Sounds like a mouthful, but it's just saying that a natural scientist will postulate a possibility. He makes a hypothesis that through observation and experimentation, he will be able to validate or invalidate. Well, God doesn't want it for that for us. When he says, "Come, let us reason together," he then says we need to start with a truthful premise. What would the reasoning ability, deductive ability, inductive ability that he says he's created you to have? What would that look like if you didn't have to question the premise, if you knew that you were starting with truth? And that's what he's referring to when he says, "Come, let us reason together." He doesn't say go reason together with this scientific group or this philosophy professor or this good friend. He said, "Come, let us reason together." And then he says this, "Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be made white as snow." So here's the picture he's painting for us. When we come to God, we come to his Word. That means his Word will always be a truthful premise from which we can begin the rational process, from which we can draw through deduction or induction the correct conclusion that begins to flesh out the bigger picture understanding that we all need to have. You don't need to check your reason in. at the counter when you get saved. Reasoning isn't the enemy of God. Starting with the wrong premise is where reason takes you astray. But when you start with the premise of God's Word, and in particular, because God's Word is all built to bring us to a place of redemption, redeeming grace, the redemption that is ours through our covenant with God, should always be the beginning of rational thought life. And then it can begin with the help of the Holy Spirit, filling in the blanks that you had wondered about, as regards God's high calling for your life, and you're being able to tap in to the power sources that He's already given you. Are you listening this morning? Because this is an important understanding it took me a long time to embrace. The knee-jerk response is, if it's not in the Bible, then I don't buy it. No, we are told that even though we have the Bible, we see as though through a glass darkly right now. We're told that we know only in part. Now, when we get into the eternal ages to come, we'll know experientially. But until then, the Bible doesn't fill in all these blanks for us. We're told that, His wisdom would fill more books than there are in this world. So He gives us a book, the Bible, filled with principles that govern our moral and ethical behavior and our decision making in general. And He says, if you do it this way, you'll experience life and blessing. If you do it that way, you'll experience death and cursing. The first reason you always look to when it doesn't seem God's empowerment is anywhere to be found is your decision-making process. And He said that's a serious self-examination we all need to make. Examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith or not. Again, another sermon that we don't have time to get into. But so that's a little bit about the big picture, a little bit about empowerment, the application of power being to align ourselves with the highest purposes of God we can. Because the closer you get to His heart, the closer you get to what's important to Him, the more empowerment you will experience. This actually has to do with what I feel like a new assignment is for us as a ministry. My son, earlier this year, became senior pastor of Living Word because Lynn and I have launched into a new arena of purpose that God has opened to us, and that is to plant churches globally. And I came to this conclusion a couple of ways, but the primary way was recognizing that the highest purpose He gives the body of Christ, and this is a dispensational purpose, but it embraces the whole body of Christ, is to go into all of the world, preach the gospel. He who believes will be saved, who doesn't will be damned. So the first thing is to go into all of the world. The second thing is to preach the gospel so as many people can get saved as possible. But the third thing, which I believe is the highest purpose of all, we see in the amplified rendering of Matthew 29:18, which now says, make disciples of all nations. Amen. Certainly we need to get them saved, but we need to teach them all things we have learned. We need to make disciples of all nations. And you can't do that by one-on-one mentoring. It would take another eon or two. God's provision for making disciples is called the local church. And so when I read that passage, I suddenly understood we are to start planting churches globally. And he shared some other particulars with me, like, not just home churches. I hear a lot of folks talking about how many churches they've started. Most of them are home churches. Nothing wrong with that. But a home church is not likely to be influential nationally. You need to fill a nation with local churches where believers come together and grow. And as they grow, their influence grows. And he says this is the way you disciple nations. And he also spoke to us that in starting churches, planting churches, it be a literal church. We've preached much about how God doesn't need a building, and I think that's wrong. Obviously, we are referred to as a church ourselves, but we're talking about influencing nations now. And he said, you build a building. When you start a new church, give them a building, because that is their greatest point of credibility in a local community, and it will become a source of influence for that community. A building will draw as an evangelistic tool, especially in third world nations. First nation we started planting churches in was the Dominican Republic. And, I heard one yeah back there. But we've got 5 down there now. But our first church was built in a garbage dump. There was a community of people that had made the garbage dump their home. And they built the places they lived out of cardboard boxes and scrap tin they could use for a roof. It was unbelievable, but it was a viable community. So we built a church in the garbage dump. There was a pearl of a building, a beautiful building with a 200-seat sanctuary and children's ministries, and people flocked from all around to come to this church. So the way the Lord has directed us, this is the way we plant churches. We build buildings, and then we provide training programs for the pastors, give them a place to become a meaningful part of the body of Christ. We're doing our second missions conference in September in Minneapolis. We're bringing back about 50 pastors and some wives from the churches we planted. We've got 31 churches in 11 countries now, and he told us to do 50 in 5 years. Again, I didn't mean this to get into self-promotion again, because there are a lot of good ministries going into the world that we can participate with. But the Lord spoke to us as the body of Christ when he said, go ye into all of the world. He didn't say just if you're called to be an apostle or a missionary or some other kind of ministry. He said it to all of us as the body of Christ. If we're interested in empowerment, we need to tap into the heart of God, and it is to make disciples of all nations. So sign up with somebody that's doing that if you can't go yourself, because everybody needs a piece of this thing. And it's how we enhance the empowerment that enables other parts of our life to fall into place and to come to pass. Well, at any rate, so that's a little bit about the big picture. That's a little bit about empowerment. Now let's do turn in the Word to a familiar passage that you probably don't need to turn to, but it's always good to look on occasion. In Genesis chapter 12, verse 3 very simply says, and the Lord speaking to Abram, later to be named Abraham, a father of many nations. And he says, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. This is one of the earliest passages that tells us about empowerment. Because the word blessed means empowered to prosper or increase. Now that's true for the Hebrew or Greek, and I'm not going to go back through all of that because Brother Copeland has taught on the meaning of blessing for a long, long time. But it means an empowerment to prosper or increase. So one of the earliest scriptural mentions of how to be empowered by God is to have a right relationship with Israel. And that means to be a source of blessing or empowerment to their prosperity and their increase. And he says, if you are, even though you may not even have a covenant with God, this is how you know it's so important. The vast majority of God's promise of blessing or empowerment, is covenant related. I mean, we look at all the promises in our covenant and we thank God for them. We build our faith in them. But understand, these represent the grace of God, unmerited favor, that you should be healed, that His provision for you should be, more than enough to meet your need, with enough left over to abound to every good work. And then beyond that, as you proceed down this path, the Bible says He will provide you richly with things to enjoy, things you didn't even ask for, if you've aligned your life with His purpose. I remember sitting in one of these meetings, it has to be 30 years ago, maybe longer. And Lynn and I, we're still fairly young in the ministry. And we came to these conventions with regularity. And one convention, now I had been saving for a fishing boat. And I had been diligent about, tithing, but setting aside enough for my fishing boat. And I wanted a brand new one, a Ranger, all equipped with everything that you can imagine. And it was about, a $60,000 boat. And I had saved up to about 50 grand at that point. And I'm sitting there on the front row, as a matter of fact, Lynn and I, and I felt the Lord say to me, give $50,000 to Brother Copeland. And I began an internal argument at that point. I said, Lord, I've only got 60. I'm supposed to give 50? And so I turned to Lynn and I laughed and I said, the devil's trying to tell me to give 50 grand. And thank God for good wives. She said, that isn't the devil, Mac. That's the Holy Ghost. And so with some degree of reluctance, I wrote out a check and planted that 50 grand. It wasn't 2 months later, I had a brand new boat given to me. Given to me. And He's given me 2 more boats since then. Because God giveth richly all things to enjoy. As a part of your proceeding and your prioritizing His high purpose for your life. See, I'm getting on rabbit trails now. I really don't have time to get on these. But here we are told in one of the earliest scriptures in the Bible that empowerment to God, empowerment from God, being blessed by God, is going to involve your empowerment and blessing of Israel to achieve their purpose and the provision God has for them. Because that's what blessed means. And, for a long time, earlier in my ministry, I used to think, I don't have any problem with Israel. I'm not anti-Semitic. And anti-Semitism right now has grown to a proportion that is hard to even imagine. Other than World War II, and especially in America, anti-Semitic thought and behavior has grown to a level that is unimaginable to me. And of course, we have the body of Christ, where that poison of anti-Semitism has penetrated, even to our faith family, our persuasion of faith. I have enough conversations with people to understand this is not a message they get. And early on in my life, I didn't get it either. I knew enough about Israel to know that it was a potentially controversial subject. There were different views of what the body of Christ relationship should be to Israel. And I didn't want to get into any of that controversy, so I said, Lord, I don't have anything against Israel. I wouldn't dare curse Israel, but I'm just not going to become a point of controversy. Well, you know, that's really a cop-out, because the whole faith message was a point of controversy in the body of Christ. The whole prosperity message is a point of controversy to those in the body of Christ, but that didn't limit our preaching on it, man. We just preached it harder and harder and harder. And so, you know, my position of not wanting to stir the boat early on was because I didn't want to be thought poorly of by someone that held an opposite viewpoint. And I said to myself, I'm not anti-Semitic. I know Israel is important to God, so, you know, I certainly would never curse them. And then this is what he said to me. The withholding of blessing is the beginning of cursing. The withholding of blessing is the beginning of cursing. There is not a neutral zone where you don't bless or you don't curse. You come down on one side of that line or the other. And God draws those lines with clarity. He said, I've placed before you this day life and blessing, death and cursing. Choose life, but the choice is yours. And so when he spoke that to me, you know, the next question is, I don't know how to bless Israel. I don't even know many Jewish people. How can I possibly be a blessing to Israel? Well, we're not going to take the time to read the chapter, but Romans 11 answers a lot of these questions for us. You know, there Paul says to the church, don't be wise in your own conceit. That means arrogant, haughty, egotistical. Don't be wise in your own conceits concerning the mystery of the blindness in part of Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. He's saying you don't know everything. This is a mystery that you need to get from God concerning the blindness in part of Israel. There's a fly. That's, you know who the Lord of the flies is. I curse him. He has to fall dead. But we can understand that the blindness of Israel is only until the fullness of the Gentiles comes in or at the end of the church age. And he said, don't be ignorant of this mystery. And we shouldn't be ignorant because a few verses earlier in Romans 11, he says that they were given a spirit of slumber by him. God gave them a spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see and ears that they should not hear until this day. And by combining that with the period of duration until the fullness of the Gentiles become in, at the end of the church age, the blinders will be removed. But it was important to God to turn what we call the gospel to the Gentile world. So it wasn't just an addendum to Judaism. He wanted to get it to the rest of the world. So he blinded the Jews to who Jesus really was. And I've, in discussions with others, have heard them say, well, you know, they were blind by their own refusal to accept him as the Messiah. But it's obvious to me that's putting the cart before the horse. Why, if they're looking for their own Messiah, would they not have been open to who he said he was? And it's because God blinded them. That comes first, and then you can understand their rejection of the Lord. This brings another subject to bear. Get out of here, fly. This brings another subject to bear. I love the discussion in Romans 11 about the good olive tree. The olive tree is always used throughout the Word as a reference to Israel in a particular sense. It's not a geographical sense. This is a spiritual entity. And of course, you know, there is a geographical definition given God's everlasting covenant with Israel. And I should underscore everlasting. It's still in force and effect. God didn't change his mind because he got ticked off at a particular people group. I mean, if our behavior determines whether or not God is faithful to his word, we're in trouble. All of us are. So God never changes. Understand, one of the rules of Bible interpretation that's most important is referred to as the rule of first mentions. Meaning, when you establish a principle in the Bible, it doesn't change. It doesn't change dispensationally. It doesn't change because God changes his mind. He is immutable. He knows the end from the beginning. He doesn't have a better idea in the middle of the stream. So when he says Israel, is an important consideration in our alignment with his high purpose, he doesn't change. He tells us that they're the apple of his eye. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So they're still the apple of his eye. That doesn't necessarily he loves them more than he loves you, but he's more sensitive about them than anybody else. Medical science will tell you that the pupil of the eye is the most sensitive part of the human body. A little mote, a little speck of dust can create considerable irritation. And he's saying, you want to irritate me? Then stick your finger in my eye by coming against Israel. And remembering that cursing begins with a refusal to bless. If I'm stepping on toes, they need to be stepped on. Because what I'm sharing with you now is scriptural. And I'm talking about empowerment for you. Aligning your heart with God's heart and what's important to him. But I should say something more about the blindness of Israel in part. Why does it say in part? Because not all of Israel was blinded. There was a remnant that changed covenants. That remnant, we can understand the reason for them. We needed church fathers and church founders, and so the apostles and the disciples, were mostly Jewish. And so there was a remnant of the Jewish population that became New Covenant believers, but only a remnant. Now, this also speaks to Messianic Judaism, which is a very real and legitimate scriptural principle. There will be Jews that change covenants, but it's not everybody. It's a remnant. His purposes for the change, you can only guess at right now, or I can apply rational thought from the premise of Scripture and see that, in my opinion, there needs to be a bridge between the two members of God's family, and that's Old Covenant believers and New Covenant believers. I don't think Messianic Jews are saved so they can go back and get all the rest of their Jewish brethren saved. But I think there to be a meaningful bridge between two cultures and people groups that are defined as the family of God. Where are they defined as the family of God? Here in Romans 11, God talks about the good olive tree. Olive tree always being, a type of Israel. And of course, we're told there that we, instead of digging up the old olive tree and planting a new olive bush, we have been cut out of the new olive bush and grafted in to the family tree of God, which has two primary constituents, Old Covenant believers and New Covenant believers. And each covenant promises salvation. The Old Covenant promises salvation. Paul went on to say in Romans 11, all Israel will be saved because this is my covenant unto them. Once again, Israel is not a geographical entity here. It's a spiritual entity. All Israel includes a biological component, which are the seed of Abraham through Isaac. and it includes a spiritual component. And that is those Jews that are not just biologically born as Jews, but that believe their covenant with God. Their salvation is different than ours. One way it's different is that when God spoke to the first Jew, Abraham, he says in the Word that Abraham believed God. What did he believe? The covenant that God had given him, the centerpiece of which was the coming of the Messiah. Abraham believed that, and it was accounted unto him for righteousness. Salvation, both Old and New covenants, is a result of the work of Jesus. But they looked forward to the cross. We looked back to the cross. And because they looked forward to the coming of the Messiah and God's redeeming grace for their nation, their covenant, it was counted to them for righteousness then, even though Jesus hadn't come. And that's still the case. A Jewish believer in his covenant who looks forward to the day of meeting Messiah, it's counted unto him as righteousness, or God would not be true to his word. And so they have a valid, everlasting covenant with God that promises them salvation. One of the hang-ups is sometimes we don't see the differences between theirs and ours. But at some point, Jesus is going to get introduced to a Jew that believes he'll meet the Messiah someday. In the Old Covenant, we see a place called Abraham's bosom or paradise, where the believing Jews, their spirits went until the day Jesus first walked on the earth. They were raised. They got to, formally make him their Lord at that point in time. There's a lot of wars fought right now in the body of Christ over whether or not Abraham's bosom is still open. I would probably opt for the supposition that it is, because I've never found a verse that says it's closed. But even if I'm wrong, and I'm sharing my opinion with you when I say it's an opinion, but understand my opinions are logically deduced from reasoning together with God. But, I personally believe that there are many other differences in their salvation than ours. Both require Jesus to be part of that equation because he is the only way. And so we have a family tree now that consists of Old Covenant believers and New Covenant believers. He clearly tells us he didn't replace the entire good olive tree with another. He cut you out as a born-again believer of the wild olive tree and grafted you in with the original branches to the good olive tree. I think another point of confusion is because it does speak in Romans 11 of some of the original branches being cut out by their own belief. But I would submit to you it's not their unbelief in the need to be born again. It's the unbelief of their own covenant. Because there are Jews that have been born biologically Jewish that don't believe anything about their covenant. And they've been cut out of their own good olive tree and are on their way to hell. But there are many that haven't. They are still Old Covenant adherents, an everlasting covenant, which also promises salvation. And they are one sibling in the family tree of God. The other sibling is the New Covenant believer. We're both part of the same family tree. Now, God's into families. Not going to go into this discussion, but the relationships you're most tasked, challenged with managing properly, and that means by the love of God, is in your own family. That's who he has put you in association with from the moment of your birth. And your management of that relationship is really important to him because it determines how children grow up, whether it's going to be well with them or not in their later years. So families are important in the natural. And of course, during the eternal ages to come, there are going to be people on this earth still marrying and having children. And of course, if it's important in terms of a natural family, how much more important is the spiritual family of God? I mean, as a brother or a sister to someone in a natural family on this earth, you're the most available person to God to be there for them, to have their back, to encourage them, to help them, to give to them in whatever way you can. Now, they're a free moral agent. The time needs to come when they succumb to the love of God, but they may not. It may be a long time because they're a free moral agent, and God basically is going to honor their right to choose their own destiny, even if it's being done out of ignorance or hardness of heart. But that's where our first responsibilities lie. I would suggest to you that in the family of God, of which there are only two participating members, Old Covenant believers and New Covenant believers, how much more responsibility do we have to have their back, to encourage them, to be there for them in any way that we can, to pray for them, to empower them to prosper and increase. I know I'm treading on toes because I feel it. Do not send me any nasty emails. I love you. I'm not trying to get you to agree with me. I'm trying to get you to agree with what I've discerned as the heart of God. Because that's where your empowerment lies. So let's talk about the big picture of God's eternal purpose for a moment. And I probably haven't said all I should about Romans 11, but I think I've said enough for the moment. Paul said that God said, all Israel will be saved, for it is my covenant unto them. Now remember, their salvation looks different than yours. Aside from looking forward to the cross or looking forward to meeting their Messiah, whereas it's already happened for us, we look back. There are other differences as well. The Jews, under their covenant, do not get a glorified body, for example. We get a glorified body in our covenant. And of course, that speaks to the eternal purpose of God for each of these covenant siblings. For each of them, God's eternal purpose is different. I mean, we know what the Word says about the planet Earth, and at the end of this age and the end of the millennial reign, it'll be renewed by fire and made once again a beautiful place. I personally believe, and this is my opinion, so don't get uptight, but it is my opinion that when God says He created the heaven and the earth, since we're made in the image and likeness of God, I believe our habitat is made in the image and likeness of God. I believe not only is the earth a planet, but heaven is a planet. And there's some indications in Scripture it might be in the northwest quadrant of the universe. So we can begin gaining insight into our glorified body by looking at Jesus, the body of Jesus. He was the first fruits of many that will be raised to eternal life. We saw His body, didn't have to go to the trouble of turning the doorknob. He could walk right through it. Physical substance had no hindrance in His movement. And we see as well that He moved through space and time at a rate that has to exceed the speed of light. I've said the speed of thought. And the reason for that is When he ascended in front of about 500 witnesses, according to Dake's commentary, the 120 were there, but there were more that had followed his ministry. They watched him ascend into the clouds. Where was he going? The right hand of the Father. If heaven is indeed a planet in which likeness earth was made, and that is the present habitation of God. Now, eventually, when earth has been restored by fire to its former glory, the New Jerusalem, God's actual habitation, will be moved from the planet heaven to the planet earth. And we see all of this in Revelation. This is not something anybody can argue with. And so, New Jerusalem, God will take up residence on the same planet that houses the apex of his creation, which is mankind. But now, about the glorified body. Logic or rationalization from the premise of Scripture causes me to want to deduct that a glorified body can help us understand the differences between God's eternal purpose for the Jew and God's eternal purpose for the church. They obviously didn't need one, and the reason is that as we go into the eternal ages to come, they're going to continue being God's emissaries, if you want to call it that, missionaries, evangelists, or those that would minister to and lead people of the earth into their worship of God and promises of God. I would surmise that there are going to be regular visits that everybody on earth makes to the New Jerusalem, which is the broadways of which are lined with the trees of life, which are said to be healing for the nations. We're not a part of that because we have glorified bodies. We will never need healing again. But the Jews do not have a glorified body. So basically, that's because their eternal purpose in the ages to come will be to indoctrinate and inculcate all of the new generations of children that continue to be born into the earth in the ways of God and the purpose of God. Call them the honor guard, call them his emissaries. I don't care what you call them, but the exercise of their eternal purpose will be limited to this earth. Now, even though our mansions are going to be in the New Jerusalem, I believe we're commuters. Because again, logic says, if the scientists are right about the Big Bang, I don't have a problem with that. There was a day when God said, let there be light, and there was a bang of his creative presence. Since God and light are one, his presence flashing through the void of infinity, bringing new constellations, new solar systems, new planets into existence, even at the rate of the speed of light. He's never said stop. So I think the scientists are right to say that the universe is continuing to expand now at a rate approaching to or beyond the speed of light. Even as we sit here, new solar systems, new planetary systems are coming into existence. And I'll tell you something that you should be mindful of in this process. If this is getting a little wild, don't leave here saying, boy, that guy's off the chart. I mean, because there are scripture, such as in Isaiah 45:18, that tell us God does not create in vain. In the Hebrew, if you look that word up, it means without form and void. Now, he created this whole universe, and we're being told here, he doesn't create in vain, but to be inhabited. So I think we have to expand our understanding to include that there are other life forms out there that we can't even imagine right now. Scripture does allude to them in some way. Winged creatures and four-headed beasts, things that don't, conform to our definition of intelligent life. But, scientists are finding, as they continue examining what they can see of the universe, what they call planets that are in the Goldilocks zone, meaning planets that can support the development of biological life as we know it. And there are hundreds of thousands of them. How about the kind of life forms we can't even imagine that might not require a Goldilocks zone? Well, that's speculation. And again, that's why all of this is my opinion. But we have been prepared as ministers of reconciliation. We have spent a small time, God says it's just a vapor of time, living on this earth, but a good part of that was to plant within us the understanding that the high performance of God's highest purpose is to be a minister of reconciliation, an ambassador of Christ. And don't limit your thinking to ruling and reigning with Jesus over the vastness of planet Earth, because it's not very vast. When you take the billions of people that have become Christians over the centuries and divide up planet Earth so that all of them have got a little bit to rule and reign over, you may get an acre or 2 or 10, I don't know. But that's ridiculous. It's not logical. Reasoning from the strength of God's Word, redemption being the basis of it, it would suggest that God's eternal purpose, which we need to get a handle on, includes far more than we might suspect just sitting here on this happy day in the convention. It extends into the universe that's continuing to expand. It extends to civilizations that are the result of God not creating anything without form or void, but creating it to be inhabited. What an excitement, man. I would say this almost sounds like Star Wars is in our future, but you're wrong about that, because we're not going to need starships. If the Lord, in proceeding to the right hand of the Father, got there in any reasonable length of time, it'd be light years if it took him just the speed of light. He got there right away. That's where he is today. That's where he is now. He'd still be on his way if he was limited to the speed of light. That's the kind of capability our glorified bodies are going to have. We don't have to catch the bus anymore. We don't have to catch the airline anymore. We don't have to worry about obstacles, meteorites, other planetary systems. No matter how far out in the universe our assignment may be, we're going to get there just like that, because we need that kind of capability. I'm out of time, almost. So let me summarize this by saying, how do you bless Israel? I mean, that's a subjective call for anybody. For me, it has a lot of different facets, for Lynn and me. We, helped in the startup of Christians United for Israel. I sat on the executive board of that organization. We make annual trips to Washington, taking literally thousands of people with us, because we put 20 or 30 different people in every congressional office to talk to our representatives about the importance of their policy toward Israel, because America's future depends upon it. That's just the way he's directed us. We put little drop boxes in our church, so people can give directly to Israel. The drop boxes used to be, all put together at the end of each week, and we established an amount of money that we would send to Israel, to various ministry outlets in Israel, to feed the poor, to help those that have been impacted by the continuing upheaval in that part of the world. Somebody started stealing from the drop boxes. Unfortunately, we caught it on camera. And so we now just restrict that to an annotation on their offering envelope that they want a certain amount to go. And then in our personal relationships with Jewish people, we encourage them in their covenant. the first thing you can do, I don't care who you are as a believer, is to encourage an Old Testament believer, an Old Covenant believer, in the present day validity and importance of their everlasting covenant with God. Let them know you're for them, not against them. Let them know you have their back. Let them know that you're there for them. To be not just another person in the crowd that is too intimidated to talk about Israel or to support Israel. Be vocal. Be someone that has the strength of character to stand up for what you know to be the heart of God. And then truly, that's the first step in blessing Israel. And then be led of your Spirit from there. I'm done. That's all I've got time for today. Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you. We give that praise to the Lord, not to man. But I appreciate your appreciation of the Word. My part in the remaining time we have is to receive the offering. Go ahead and be seated again. Is to receive the offering. And I simply want to say this to you. Every believer needs a part of going into the world, although the vast majority are not called to go themselves. But everybody needs to enable it through your prayer, through your financial support. And there are a lot of good ministries out there that go into the world, preach huge meetings, win millions to the Lord. There are a lot of good ministries out there that do a lot of benevolence for others in other parts of the world that you can partner with. We are one that is building churches. But whoever it is, certainly we're just one of many. I would say Kenneth Copeland Ministries is at the top of that list. Listen, I'm on the board. I know how far into this world they touch in ways that many of you will never know because you're not privy to that information. I mean, I don't know if you know, but Reinhard Bonnke, who was someone I was fortunate to become a friend of, and flew him around a little bit. But Reinhard, I think, is probably historically the most prolific evangelist who ever lived. But do you know who funded all of his meetings overseas and in Africa? Kenneth Copeland Ministries. They don't advertise that. It's not something you hear a lot about. And it doesn't, since Reinhard's gone on to be with the Lord, they don't do any less now than they ever did. They go into the world through television, through social media. They support ministries around the world that are doing the work of God in nations all over this earth. And so I would suggest that as you give this morning, you give to KCM with that understanding, that you are now going to open yourself to a greater level of empowerment by taking a responsible piece of the action for going in to all of the world. I believe the empowerment will increase to accommodate your generosity to Kenneth Copeland Ministries because they're an agent for bringing the gospel to the whole world. Let's pray together for a minute before we receive the offering. Father, we thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity to invest in your heart on a worldwide basis, beginning right here at home, beginning with Fort Worth, beginning with Texas, beginning with America, but then into the uttermost parts of the earth. We thank you that we have the privilege of signing up for your heart, your high purpose, and reaching the world with the gospel. So we dedicate these offerings this morning to your work and your purpose through KCM. And we give with generosity, knowing that we can't outgive you. And that because we give, it'll be given unto us, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. We dedicate these offerings this morning to your work and your service. In Jesus' name we pray, and everybody said, amen. Glory to God. That's it for me today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's give Brother Mack another hand, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the privilege. Blessings to you.
All right, we know we have some people that probably just came in and haven't been here much this week, so let me give you all the instructions on how you can give today. First of all, good morning, everybody. It's good to have you all back this morning. We got a great day ahead of us. I've already had a great word by Brother Mack, and some great words still coming. Brother Copeland will be coming out in just a moment. So you're in the right place today. So for those of you here in the room, we have this cool little thing, and if you tap, there's a card on the seat in front of you. If you tap that, this little thing comes up on your phone. It's really fun. You get to play with it. First you get to give, and then you get to do other stuff with it. But it tells you everything you need to know about how to give. So tap your phone on that card if you're sitting out there in the audience. Also, if you would like to give by check, you can make your check out to KCM. Make it check payable to KCM. If you're giving by cash and you want an envelope, raise your hand, and the ushers will make sure that you get an envelope so you can give that way. Everybody that's watching, anybody in here, or everybody that's watching us on the network or online, if you want to text to give, the text to give option is to text the word event to 36609. That's 36609, and put the amount in there. If you're watching online, kcm.org/event is what you do to give online, kcm.org/event. All this is up there on the screen, so if you don't like the way I'm saying it, you can read it. Or you can, there's a phone number to call now. There's a different phone number than the one I've been giving you this week. So write this down, 817-852-6000. 817-852-6000. If you want to give by phone, call that number. And if you want to mail your gift in, you can mail it to Kenneth Copeland Ministries, Fort Worth, Texas, 76192. God bless you, everybody. It's great to see you. And we're going to have a little music for you, and then Brother Copeland will be right out. Ushers, go ahead and serve the people.
God is a good God. Yes, He is. Oh, God is a good God. Yes, He is. Oh, God is a good God. Yes, He is. Oh, yes, He is. Yes, He is. Yes, He is. Oh, my God is a good God.
Hey, Ray G. Hey, yes, he is. Yes, he is. Hallelujah. And Brother Mack, as you come up here, I need my phone. We have a prayer request that's come in, and I want you to remain standing, please. That now we're going to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Okay. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you, the holy city. May peace be within your walls and prosperity within your palaces. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Now, in this, we will hold the Prime Minister in our hearts and all of the persecution slammed in his face. Well, you're the blame for this, and you're the blame for that. No, no, no. That's right. I call him like Joshua, for me and my house, we'll serve the Lord.
Absolutely.
I see that in
Yes.
him.
Yes.
Well, say what you want to, me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord, and we'll do what he says do about this situation.
Yes.
We do not wrestle with flesh and blood. Hear us, principalities and powers. We don't wrestle with flesh and blood. We wrestle with principalities and powers and rulers of the darkness of this world. And I want you to know, bless God, rulers of darkness don't rule me or my house.
That's right.
For me and my house, we'll serve the Lord. By the way, that message you did today, but that's right up on the top shelf.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth, we pray for the peace. Nothing missing, nothing broken for Jerusalem. And we pray for the Prime Minister and all of the persecution that's come his way. Well, they need a ceasefire. Well, no, we don't need a ceasefire. No! Unconditional surrender is the only thing we have.
Yes.
Ceasefire, yes. Lay your weapons down and walk out the door. You'll not settle for anything else. Now, in a few days here, December the 6th, I'll be 90 years old. And I have seen a lot of presidents do this and do that. But can you imagine anybody walking into the President of the United States and say, now listen, let's take it easy on Japan. Now, what Japan thought they would do, I read the history on it. That if we strike the Hawaiian Islands and we get their carriers, they'll sue for peace. And Admiral Yamamoto said, no, you don't know these people. And on the day of attack, he said, did we get the carriers? They said, no. He said, our fear, we have awakened a sleeping giant and filled him with a terrible resolve. My mother's older brother paid the ultimate price in that war. And I'm not going to just sit by. I'm not going to sit by and let somebody badmouth President Trump.
That's right.
I don't like his politics, but he was President of the United States of America, and I'm not going to badmouth the man. That's wrong. And all of these years, I've watched presidents and prime ministers come and go. but we will pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Would you lift your hands, please? Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth, whose we are and whom we serve, based on what our first president George Washington did and said, when he read down and kissed his Bible at the 17th chapter of the book of Genesis and looked up and said, "You will be our God and we'll be your people." And we, Father, will not stand still while people just set out to tear up and tear down everything they possibly can. And we thank you, Father, and we praise you in the name that's above every name that's named. For he said, where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. And whatever they agree upon, I will bring it to pass. So in the name of Jesus, principalities and powers, bow your knee. And we pray and we hold up for the peace of Jerusalem. And we honor you, my dear Father. We honor you today. And we honor all of the things that you put on our hearts to do and say, according to Genesis chapter 12. That you bless those who bless him and curse him that curses you. We take that place in a place of blessing. For you, Mr. Prime Minister, and everyone under your command. For you, Mr. President, and everyone under your command. And these two nations will stand together. Absolutely stand together. We are bound together by George Washington. So much. Check it out. Read it for yourself. So much of the Constitution of the United States is founded in Scripture. Praise God forevermore. And it is the one Constitution on this earth. It is 450 years old. And it has been cussed over, fought over, but it's never been changed. That's right. That's right. It has never been changed. And that's where we stand. That's where we stand. We stand today on victory. We are on the side of victory. Praise God. Well, you may be seated. Mac, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenneth.
God bless you. Now, today, come help me, Barry.
John's going to come out.
Good. I know that guy.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Isn't Dad a good dad? Best dad in the world.
Thank you.
We have some special guests here today.
I heard about that.
Yeah. All of our KCM staff have left the office and they get to come down to the convention today. All 440 of them down here. Y'all stand up.
There they are.
These are the best teammates in the whole world right here.
That's right.
These people come to work every day with one thing in mind, and that's how do we minister to our partners and friends and get this word out around the world. And so I want y'all to give them a big hand because they love you.
Praise
they pray for you every day.
Hallelujah.
You know, I left the ministry for a while, And the biggest thing I missed were these people right here, seeing their faces every day.
That's right.
So thank you to y'all. And I also want to give a shout out to all the volunteer ushers around the building that have been putting in work this week. They're here to love you, take care of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Jesus. You want to help me downstairs?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Of course I do.
That's the reason we gave birth to you. Where you get on this side? Thank you, Jesus.
This man is healed, healthy, and
Yes.
whole. Pain-free body.
I'll give you a little history.
That podium moves too.
Good. Yeah. Thank you, John. In 2003, when we did the big band album, and I want to mention something about Daystar. Marcus and Joni Lamb, very special in our lives, and they still are. And they were sitting right over there someplace. And the Lord laid it on my heart to sow the entire offering of the entire convention into that ministry. And later, I just did it because I had it in my heart to do it. And I found out later that it was right on time. And the launching of Daystar, it's extremely important. And that ministry is magnificent in itself. We're going to read several verses of scripture here. Now, one, let's go. I want to look at Deuteronomy 20. Now, remember this. Deuteronomy 28, the blessing. Blessed in the basket in a kneading trough. But if you will not obey the voice of the Lord your God, being watchful to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command you. Now, go down to the 22nd verse. Now, I want you to understand something. God doesn't smite anybody. And it's, well, I won't go into all that. But now notice how this is written. If you'll diligently listen to the voice of your God, all these blessings shall come on you and overtake you. It said the blessing will come on you and overtake you. Over here, the curse will come on you and overtake you. It's not God will curse you. No. But when the curse is in action, there's not anything he can do about it. Well, Brother Copeland, why do bad things happen to good people? Good people make bad choices. Well, God didn't say you shouldn't have made that choice. I'm going to kill you for that. He's not the killer. And as I read, and they said, we are looking for a way to kill him. What about the commandments? Thou shalt not kill. That's not what it says. It says, thou shalt not murder. That's what that verse says. So, these curses will come on you and overtake you. You will be smitten with consumption and with fever and inflammation, fiery heat, sword and drought and blasting and mildew. They shall pursue you until you perish. Now go with me to Matthew 8:14. When Jesus went into Peter's house, he saw his mother-in-law lying with a great fever. He touched her hand, and the fever left her. She got up and began waiting on him. And when evening was come, they brought to him many under the power of demons, and he drove out the spirits with his word, and restored to health all who were sick, that thus it might be fulfilled that which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet. He took himself under to carry away our weaknesses, infirmities, and bore away our diseases. Now, let's go to Mark. And I'm in the classic, the Amplified Classic. And by the way, those of you that don't know, it's a KCM product now. So, and one of the things we did, we put it in paperback. And by putting it in paperback, we can put it in prisons. And in fact, I like that paperback because it's about this big, and it doesn't hurt anything if you tear a page. So let's go to Mark 1:30. Here we go. Well, let's see, no. Mark 1. Let me make sure I got that scripture right. Mark 1, yeah, Mark 1, and now, Simon Peter's mother-in-law had for some time been lying sick with a fever, and at once they told him about her, and he went up to her. So she must have been upstairs. He went up to her, took her by the hand, and raised her up. The fever left her, and she began waiting on him. Now, in the book of Luke. And that is Luke 4. Each one of them tells us a little more about it. You can tell it's a new Bible. Now listen to this one. Then he arose and left the synagogue and went into Peter's house. Now Simon's mother-in-law was suffering in the grip of a burning fever. And they pleaded with him for her. Now, standing over her, he rebuked the fever, and it left her immediately. And she got up and waited on them. That is, the fever was coupled with consumption. Said she'd been in that way a long time. Somewhere or other, somehow or other, she got out of the blessing of Abraham. And she was about to die. Well, we talk about being redeemed from the curse of the law. The Redeemer was standing there. Now, his knowing Jesus knowing by the Father what she had done, where she had done it, And I am totally and absolutely convinced that she worried about it, and she kept worrying about it until tuberculosis had set in. She could hardly breathe. She was dying. And she had been that way for some time. So whatever the sin was that put her in that condition, whatever it was that put her into the hands of the destroyer, was killing her. Now Simon might have known because he knew her as his mother-in-law. And of course the Bible refers to him as Peter. Because Simon said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God." And he said, "I call you Peter, because this revelation didn't come from you, it came from the Father." Now that sounds great and good to me and to you. But you look back on it, I like the way that the Chosen did this. What does that mean? What kind of name is that? It's common with us. They didn't have this to read. They were fishermen. Now I'm going to stand up here a second. Can you imagine upwards of 4,000 people eating raw fish? No, they were sardines. And that's the reason that all those little fish would school, and that net would they'd just fly from that net. And Jesus said, "Put it over here on this side of the boat." And those little sardines say, "Choose me, choose me." I want to be the one. And that's what he had when they saw him with fish on the fire. How did he do that, Brother Copeland? He commanded them, and they heard his voice. They commanded him and heard his voice. And Peter said, "It's the Lord." Well, they got through. They said, "I'm going fishing." I'm going with you. Did you notice the net didn't break? And it says it was so, they caught so many big fish, they couldn't even pull it. Oh, it was a net breaking load. Yeah, the net was rotten. Jesus said, "Throw in your nets." And I'm paraphrasing. Peter said, "Okay, I'll throw in one." He's not going to get anything anyway, out here in the middle of the day. And they caught so much little fish and big fish, the scripture says they're about to sink the boat. Those schools of sardines, and that was what the big catch was. It was a clean fish, and you really didn't have to cook them. Well, Brother Copeland, how do you know? I'm so glad you asked. Because my dad and I'd go fishing, and so we'd get a couple of cans of sardines and some crackers, and that was lunch while you're out there in that boat, because you didn't have to cook them. Well, I don't like them, Brother Copeland. Well, don't eat them. But the main catch with those sardines That's the reason he could feed that. You remember it said this little boy, and two small fish, 2 little sardines, and it fed 4,000 or 5,000 people. Well, what I couldn't get hold of was 4,000 or 5,000 people. And I've seen the pictures, like they're big old fish like this, and having to, what am I going to do with this thing? No, it was sardines. So the next time you're around, somebody say, and they won't know it either. Well, I wouldn't have known it if I hadn't got curious. But the Lord dropped it in my heart to check and see if those things were sardines. Because that's the only thing I could think of that was small enough that it could split among all the people and eat it right there where they were and filled with it. And so I researched it, and yes, it was sardines. And that was what that's what the fishing market right about that time was based on, the sardines in the Galilee. Praise God. Amen. Now, when Gloria and I and this family found out that we're redeemed from the curse, I want to go back to 2003. We did the big band album, lot of rehearsal, and I'd been looking so forward to it because I'd always wanted to do that in the first place, and so we did, and it took so much out of me, particularly all the rehearsal we went to over that over and over and over again, so that I'd do it without, making some kind of clown somewhere or another. So I just waited. I just took the makeup off my face and went to bed. And now if you walk in my shower, the shower head is here, and the towel rack is here, and there's a bench over here. And I was just letting that hot water roll over me and thinking, I believe that was pretty good. When it comes to my music and so forth, I'm kind of a terrible judge. Oh, and I want to mention something to you about the book. And I talked about prayer. Hey, Terry's book, The Encounter with Him, that, I'm telling you, that's a prayer book. And I read that, and I got so tickled. And she said, she went into the store, and a lot of you I know have read it, but she came into the store, and there was a dress in there that she really did like. And she looked at the price tag, and she said, "Dress, you can't talk to me like that. You can't. You can't speak to me like that." And that turned out to be what it should have been. But then, and I put it like this. She and my mother ganged up on me. and she and Terry, and my mother taught her prayer and intercessory prayer and so forth. And it was wonderful news when I was in the Army. And then August, this little thing was born. I had no idea that she's going to do what she did. She and my mother got together, and they prayed 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 and they prayed. Prayed and they prayed and they prayed and they prayed and they prayed. And finally, my mother said, "That's it. If he goes to hell, it's your fault." I didn't know she'd done that. And I flew that man from Little Rock, Shreveport. He was an executive with the Arklatex Natural Gas Company. And I came in that evening it was about 8 o'clock. Well, I know it was 8 o'clock. And in my mind, I can see Gloria. She was over there preparing supper for me because she knew I was going to be in late. And I went in and changed clothes. I thought it was, like any other time. And I walked in there and sat down. Now, I learned how to listen to my spirit, but some people call it your subconscious mind. Well, that's what it is. But in flying airplanes, any pilot can do that because you're always listening for that number. Whatever it is, okay, no. But anyway, that's the way it was with me. And I sat down there and I did that. And Kenneth, if you don't get right with me, you go into a devil's hell, son. I said, I know it, but what do I do now?
Boys, you have to ask Jesus to come into your heart. I said, Lord, that's old Lady Taggart. Well, I said, just as dumb as it did the first time, but Jesus, come into my heart.
Profanity was gone from that day to this. I didn't know I was a new creature. I knew something good happened to me. I said, Glo, come here, baby. Now, see, she's born in Church of Christ. I was born in the Baptist church. So we just really didn't bring it up. And I said, baby, what would you say if that I were to give my testimony and talk about God? Hallelujah, she said. I said, hallelujah, what? She said, the Bible your mother sent you that you never did read. She said, I read it. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all of these things will be added to you. She said, Lord, I sure do need things. Take my life and do something with it. And the Copeland-Pearson gang worked. It worked. Praise God. And then, and now I want to talk about this too. I can't do it sitting down. I was invited to preach. Raymond started at Sheridan Assembly Church. And I was invited to preach. And I remember I preached on 3 honors. Number 1, so honored to be called to preach by the living God. Number 2, to be loved by a godly woman. Number 3, the third greatest honor is that my peers would want to hear something that I have to say. And Brother Hagin said, Brother Kenneth, wait a minute. And they gave me a 1979 Rhema class ring. I said, well, he said, Brother Hagin said, well, you learned it from me, did you not? I said, yes, sir, I did. He walked over to my book table and he looked over this. He said, Kenneth, at least you could have done is change the titles. I said, no, sir. If it is a book, I wouldn't have changed the title of it. That's where I learned it. And I showed up. We were there at Mother's. And I said, Mother, you got any tapes in there? Yeah, look on that tape recorder. On one side, Paul's revelation, and on the other side, you can write your own ticket with God. I said, Gloria, we have to have everything that this man has. And so we got back to Tulsa, and I just looked up the phone number and called. And I said, do you have any kind of battery-operated tape machine? Yes. We have the little Martells. And they told me how to get there. And we had that car wreck, and I had that old car that brought $135,000. I had a picture of that situation closed there in Camden. And the man said, and I told him, I said, I don't have but $135. He said, get in the car. Well, we drove past the used car lot. We got over there behind this barn. And there sat the worst looking 1954 Chevrolet I have ever seen in my entire life. He said, now, Copeland, I no more than traded for this thing. He never did call it a car. He said, I traded for this thing. No more than got it in here, and the transmission went out on it. So we had to fix the transmission. Then the engine literally blew up. So we overhauled the engine. He said, I have $700 in it that I'll never get out. You got that $135,000? Yes, sir. Well, it ran good. It looked like a dog. But you could tell at one time it had been a pretty car. But that thing ran good. I just didn't want anybody to see it. But that's the reason I told you about that. So I went over there, and I told them, I said, now, I was a buddy. I said, Mr. Harrison, I don't have any money, but here's the title to my car if you want to hold that until I can get. No. He said, I said, I do have a meeting to preach here that I scheduled, and I'll come pay for all this. No, I said, we trust you. Brother Higgins said, that car out there in front, was that the one he's talking about? He said, yeah. Oh, good Lord, we preach prosperity around here. He said, we preach. But it didn't take all that long until we came out of it. Anyway, back to this. And I turned to pick up that washcloth, and I ruptured the disc in my back. That muscle spasm was so hard. I went in there at 5 feet. I'm now 5'9". Crawled out of there at 5 to 5. None of my slacks fit. I was 5. Let's see. 5'10", yeah, I was 5'10" and a half. It took 1.5 inches off of my stature. I crawled out of there, I couldn't walk. Couldn't stand up. And I found out about stem cells. And a few massive doses of stem cells, and it was all right. Now, how many of you in aviation or so forth have ever taken the Bruce protocol or for a heart test? Anybody in here? Well, Doc, you know what it is. It's on a treadmill, but you just warm up flat, and then it starts incline and speeding up. And it is 9 minutes of really brutality. Well, so I Got in there and did it. I was working out at the Bruce Protocol. 2 years ago, May, I was in the best condition probably in my entire life. And May, 2 years ago, my appendix ruptured. I didn't get a chance to pray about it. It wasn't sore, it ruptured. I was on my way to the treadmill. But now, one of the reasons I'm telling you this is, even at my age, with my body in as good a condition as it was, at first, it didn't hurt all that much. And John called an ambulance, and I said, well, John, I don't know. He said, well, Dad, let's go on to the hospital and check it out. Well, they got there, and it had already ruptured. So I didn't get a chance to say, well, how did you get under the curse? Disobedience, that's how. The Lord said, I told you to start walking. And you did for a little while, but then you quit. And he said, I created you to rest at least 52 days a year. He said, Kenneth, you didn't rest in 52 days for 5 years. He said, you violated what I said. You didn't do it when I told you the first time, and there wasn't anything I could do about it. You just opened the door, and the devil slapped you. I said, sir, I repent of that. So I began taking a rest. And then, of course, right before this year, he said, I'm going to take you off the road until I tell you later. And he said, I want you to stay home and rest and take time to get a good rest and build yourself back up. Well, I've been working my way back up to that Bruce Protocol, even though I still had a considerable amount of pain there. But just working my way back up to it. And now, next week, you understand? You know what next week means? When you go home, I'm going home, but it's just across town. I think it's an amazing thing that we came in here in 1981, and then they can hardly wait for us to get out of here. That's one of the reasons we don't have a Saturday night service. They get out of here where we can tear the rest of this thing down. I think that's good. I think that's a good reputation, don't you? All these years. Now, and this is what I want you to hold me up in prayer about. Now, I can schedule my workouts because I have a very nice exercise room and I have a treadmill, and the treadmill is not to hang clothes on. It's and it's a very nice treadmill. And Keith and Phyllis Moore sewed it into our lives. And so on that treadmill. And then not only the aerobics. Now you understand I'm not bragging on me. I'm just holding this up before you. That before this thing happened, I was keeping the mileage. And I wore one pair of New Balance shoes out. I have it I have a calculator on my phone. And I lack at an average of 1.68 miles per session. I lack about, I don't remember, 200-300 miles to have 2,000 miles on that treadmill. But that's what it takes. And this morning, I don't want to go do that and get on the treadmill before breakfast. And I like to say this. You know, I was in the Army. And we do more before 9 o'clock than most people do all day. And on those workout days, you just get up early and get in there and go to work. And this way, now having the time to do it and get up and begin that, and I'm working my way back up so that I can work out at that Bruce protocol. And the next time you see me, I will not be sitting in a chair. I will not. Just wanted you to know. Praise God. All right. Say again. Oh, thank you. I received that. Now, let's go. I want to talk about this now. Let's go over to the book of Galatians. And chapter 1. Let's see, let's start here. Let's go down to, in verse 8. Even if we were an angel from heaven, should preach to you a gospel contrary to and different than that which we preach to you, let him be accursed. As we have said before, I say now. Let's go down here. 14. If you have heard how I have stripped many of the men of my generation among the people of my race, in my advancement in study and observance of the law of Judaism, so extremely enthusiastic and zealous for the traditions of my ancestors. But when he who had chosen and set me apart even before I was born, he undeserved favor and blessing to reveal, unveil, and disclose his Son within me, so that I might proclaim his word and the glad tidings of the gospel. Immediately I did not confer with flesh and blood, nor did I consult with or communicate with anyone, nor even did I go up to Jerusalem to those who were apostles, special messengers, before. I retired to Arabia. What? I retired to Arabia. And afterward, I came again to Damascus, then 3 years later. It doesn't say how long he was in Arabia. You know what's in Arabia? Mount Horeb. And you remember he said, on the day it has been revealed to me that on the night he was betrayed, it's been revealed to me. How do you know that? He was there in the Spirit. You remember he said, in the body, out of the body, I cannot tell. You remember that they stoned him and took him up for dead. That's the reason that this man writes things Jesus had just come out of the tomb. You remember that Nicodemus and prepared him for the grave as the Egyptians did, and they used about 100 pounds of material. When they walked in there, it was not just the napkin laying there. There was this body-shaped cocoon with nobody in it. With the face napkin, they'd hear over on the side. And they walked in there and saw that. You know, they walked in there, and there that thing is, no one's there. And so Mary walked out, thinking it was the gardener, and said, "What have you done with him?" He said, "Mary," and she knew who it was. "Don't touch me. I have not yet ascended to my Father and your Father. Go tell my disciples and Peter that I'll talk to him later." And then they were in that place. The Gospel of John records it. They were all gathered together and moaning, and he just walked through the door. I mean, the wall. It says he walked in without opening the door. And he sat down, and Brother Mack touched on this morning. He sat down and he ate. No blood. Because his blood is in the heavenly mercy seat. And some people said, "Well, we're not sure who wrote the book of Hebrews." Well, I mean, I was born tonight, but it wasn't last night. I mean, he wrote all that. No one else was qualified to be present when they had to purify the heavenly utensils of worship. Nobody even mentioned that any place, anywhere, except in the book of Hebrews. No one ever said anything about that. And he appeared to 500. He's the only one that knew that. Why? Because he saw it. Amen. And now you know what he meant when he said, "This has happened to me because of the abundance of revelation." I mean, the devil attacked him and just ripped into him. Well, the same thing that happened to him that happened to Jesus. They couldn't. The Pharisees would stand and preach. They would pay attention to him. They just followed him. And Brother Rick said that the scholars say there were anywhere from 20 to 50,000 people following him every day, everywhere. And they got so envious of that. So that they set out to kill him. And I read that and I said, well, whatever happened to "thou shalt not kill"? It says, "thou shalt not murder." But if it's premeditated, it's murder, brother. To destroy him. And everything that he was telling them pointed to Messiah, and they knew it. And they thought when he comes, he's just going to take over and run Rome out. And he later did. Constantine's mother was a Christian. And that's when the Roman Empire lost its desire to conquer the whole world. Praise God. And where is one of the biggest churches in the world? St. Peter's Basilica. Amen. Praise God. How much time? I'll begin to close with this. Tony Palmer was our director in South Africa. And we were in London, and he wanted an appointment with me. And he said, what do you think about this? He said, I have an opening that I need to step over into the Anglican Church. I said, why? Because a man by the name of Mateusz Skaliski is in the Vatican. And we want to put together a team and begin to minister in different dioceses. And I needed to have a caller in order to do it. I said, Tony, I think that's the greatest breakthrough I ever heard. So he began to tell the Pope about our ministers' conferences. And he began to tell him, he said, they have these ministers' conferences, and they are so prosperous. And he said, some of them fly airplanes in there. And he said, what do you think? And the Pope said, Tony, I would like to bless Mr. Copeland, and I'd like to have him bless me. So he's trying to tell him, and he said, Tony, do you have your phone? So he sent us a message. Well, we went. James and Betty Robinson, John Arnott from Canada, and, oh, Lord, I don't want to leave anybody out. Anyway, we went. And I have some pictures of it. If I'd thought about it, I'd have them run it. But anyway, we went. You got it? Can you see it? Yeah. And there were some more pictures in there. That's Tony on the far right-hand side. And that's Pope Francis. Anyway, we were sitting there, and so, and he's a funny guy. And so I have a picture of him high-fiving James Robinson down there at the end of the table. And so on the way out, he walked over there to me, and he said, would you bless me, please? And I did. And then he put his hands on me. And I said, through an interpreter, you're a preacher and a good one. I said, just as you prepare a message, and you know what you're going to say. But I said, sir, if you'll allow me, or Your Excellency, if you'll allow me, take up what you've prepared. Then lay the rest of it down and just preach. He did that a couple of times. Well, you remember when he came to New York? You remember what he did? He was sitting up there and he got up. I said, Gloria, he's going to do it. And he began to preach. And everybody around him, you know, and he just preached. Well, it was Tony's routine every Sunday, and those little roads over there where they're not very wide. And he would get up early and get on his motorcycle and take a little ride and come back, clean up, and it'd be time for church. And he was out taking his little ride, and there was a head-on collision. When he became Pope, he said, anybody in my staff, and I find out about it, and you're in any way connected, in any way, you're out. And they sent him a message, said, sir, and Tony said, sir, what if they kill you? He said, I'll be a martyr. Well, they didn't kill him, they killed Tony. So Tony Palmer laid his life on the line. And he is a martyr. I mean, it was proved so many ways, and we had ways and means to get into that. Now, the reason I brought this up, when you read this man's writings, be very aware and look at the things that he wrote. That's the reason he said, if anybody's preaching some other gospel, let him be accursed. Why? He got it from Jesus personally. And you study, and then study some more of the book of Hebrews. Look at it carefully and what all it says about the covenants. Now, Mac touched on a little bit of that this morning, but look what it says about the covenant. Amen. Now, he is our high priest. But he did not come from Levi. He came from Judah. But yet he is our high priest in the heavenly. So as you study his writings, study them very carefully. And notice the things that, and compare with the other writers about other things. And look at those things. And that's why and how we get certain definitions that you don't get anyplace else. And we talked about this before. If you read that first chapter and particularly read it from the Amplified, that's what God used to raise him from the dead. Again, I'll be a father to him, and again, he'll be a son to me. Nobody else ever said that. But these are the words that the Father used to raise him up out of the dead. And you continue about the angels. Are they not all ministering spirits sent out in the service of God for the assistance of those who are inherit salvation? That's all of us. Now, hang on a minute. All right. You can tell that this wasn't something I had written down. I want to go to the book of Exodus. Chapter 'Oh, that's Leviticus, Copeland. That don't work. And that's going to be right here. Exodus 23. And I'm showing you this because after what we read there, if you start at the 25th verse, and particularly in the King James, you shall serve the Lord your God. He shall bless your bread and water. I will. What? He shall bless your bread and water, and I will take sick. What? He will bless. Well, back up to the 20th verse. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you and guard you on the way and bring you to a place I have prepared. Give heed to him, listen to and obey his voice. Be not rebellious before him or provoke him, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. But now you go over here. You shall serve now. If you look up in the curse, one of the curses is, you did not serve me with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. The Lord showed me that, so I put it in here. You shall serve with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. He, who? Your angel, will bless your bread and water. I will take sickness from your midst. None shall lose their young by miscarriage or be barren in your land. I will fulfill the number of your days. I pray that. Lord, I know so many times my angel blesses my bread and water. Angel, I thank you. Brother Copeland, can you thank? They can hear, you know. I was preaching in Beaumont, Texas. And Dad Sutton, Hilton Sutton's dad, had a small church there in Beaumont. And this was just right after I left ORU. I went down and I already had an evangelistic program set up so I could just stay at the university and work with Brother Roberts. And I got all ready, and the Lord said, I'm ready for you now. What do you want me to do? I want you to go back to Fort Worth. I said, Lord, you know what happened to you in your hometown. I don't want to do that. He said, well, the greatest part of your destiny is there. Turned out sure enough. Well, very small church, and seated, best I remember, somewhere about 400. It was split down the middle. And back in those days, I was grabbing around because we didn't get over 40 or 50 people. I'll tell you about that later. But there was a Baptist guy, and I mean he was there every day, particularly in the morning sessions because I was teaching on the Word of Faith, and he was there. But I noticed for several days he wasn't there. But he came in and he sat down on the back right there, and he kind of had a funny look on his face. He said, Brother Copeland, can I speak to you? He said, yes. He said, you said something that kind of upended my Baptist theology. And he said, I just thought, I'm not going back. I said, well, I noticed you were gone 2 or 3 days. Well, the Lord said, if you go back one more time, then I believe it'll settle it for you. He said, Mr. Copeland, I was just sitting there, and all of a sudden, the biggest man I have ever seen in my life, he looked like Mr. Clean. And he said, he was standing right here and said, you'd slow down and he'll whisper something in your ear, you just take off. That's my angel. Wow. Jesus talked about the angels before the face of the Father. And Brother Hagin asked him about that. He said, no, you didn't lose your angel after you grow up. He said, did you never read in my word? My angels are sent forth to minister to and for the heirs of salvation. Well, my angel is here right now. And so this entire room is full of angels. And we outnumber the devils at least 3 to 1. Amen? So be aware of him. They're not little babies with a little stubby wing. And I don't know why every time you see an angel mentioned in the scripture, they have wings. How could you entertain an angel unaware and they're walking around with a pair of wings on their back? Do you have scripture for that? Yes, I do. And if the Lord agrees with me, I'll take the time to do it. But the book of Isaiah says, is this the man? Is this the man that destroyed nations? And there were waters on the face of the deep. That was the first flood. And you go down far enough layers, then that's where you get into the dinosaurs and so forth. The second flood broke up the fountains from the deep and formed the continents. But the waters are mentioned there. So, anyway, as you read all of the things like that, and then you go to the book of Hebrews and you begin to study. When you're reading the Gospels, Nicodemus came to Jesus by night. And the reason he came by night, he believed he's the Messiah. And he came by night. But then as you read, you see that it was Nicodemus that came and helped them to prepare him. Because Nicodemus, like all the rest of them, found him in the book of Isaiah. Because in their consciousness, that's all there was to it. It just came up to the book of Micah. Now, Bishop Butler pointed this out to me, and then I looked it up in the BLB. And Micah is prophesying 400 years. And in the 4th chapter, it said, the Son, S-U-N, of righteousness come with healing in his wings. Well, go look it up. Wings is translated garment. Well, then Micah became this woman's prophet. And so she came and said, if I but touch the hem of his garment. That's when she read Hebrew. She didn't have to have it translated to her. She knew what that word meant. If I but touch the hem of his garment, I'll be healed. She came in fear and trembling because issue of blood for 12 years, she was considered unclean and was not allowed to be in public. Come on. Amen. But she did it anyway. And she came out there fearing and trembling and touched that garment. And Jesus said, "Who touched my clothes?" Now, these are things in the reading and the studying. Get that little blue letter Bible. And they're on my list. They're operated completely by the donations of the people that use it. And so they're on my list of people that I sow into on a regular basis because I use it all the time. If I but touched the hem of his garment, and she did, knowing in herself she was healed. Praise God. Did you like that today? The part that I will reiterate to you is to study the book of Hebrews very, very carefully. And I was with David Barton on of the Bible, and he said, "Where do you get a white highlighter?" I found it wound up over a period of time. I underlined everything in it. I said, "No, I only underlined the good parts." But go back into the book of Hebrews and study it carefully. And as you do, mark the places about covenant, and there he receives our tithes and offering. There he who is witness he lives forever receives. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And that's not just church talk. And Gloria and I, of course, when we started out, we'd been hilarious givers. We didn't have anything to give. I came home from school one day, and I said, "Gloria, we are partners with Oral Roberts for $10 a month." She said, "Kenneth, where on earth are we going to get $10 a month?" I said, "Well, sit down here, girl." So I preached it as neat as I could. She said, "Well, okay." And we were going into Oklahoma City, and the children were saying, "We hungry. When are we going to eat?" I said, "Anytime now." But all the money was in the gas tank. Knowing we get to Oklahoma City, we're preaching, when are we going to eat? And a $20 bill blew across the road and fastened itself up against the fence. We peeled that 20 off, and we haven't had that gasoline problem anymore. Praise God. I said, praise God. And thank you for being so attentive, and our staff here. At least they get to see you sometimes. But we're making a change in that now that I have time to do it. So if somebody will, you can go ahead and stand if you'd like. Father, we thank you today for hearing our prayers. We thank you that the angels have moved for the peace of Jerusalem. We thank you that that the Lord of hosts is in action now, and the Lord of hosts is moving in there to put down the principalities and the powers. Archangel Michael is work. The angel are at work. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And we praise you and we thank you that all is well in the household of faith. Praise God.
Hallelujah. All is well in the household of faith. That's good. Thank you, Brother Copeland. All right. Look how nice you guys are ready to go eat lunch, aren't you? All right, we won't keep you too long. We are kind of at the midway. By the way, this is Colby Coleman.
Hi, how's it going?
Who is a KCBC graduate and now works in our HR department at the ministry. So he's going to be up here to make sure I stay on task. Not really. Not really. Now, we are kind of at the halfway point, but it's not too early for you to order your media sets of this week. It's It's something you're going to want to keep with you over and listen to and watch over and over and over again. We actually have those on sale for 25% off this week, so you can order those online and have them shipped directly to your house. How more convenient can we make it for you? Only thing we can't do for you is go order them. You have to go do that yourself. So make sure you go do that. Also, we have a Lifeline series, a spiritual action plan. Great product that we have that can help you live out victorious life, and it's bought and paid for by the blood of Jesus. Aren't you glad about that? You can order that as well online. That's a great series. You're going to want to make sure you take advantage of that. Kobe?
Yeah, if God has been moving on your heart during the sessions and you just feel like there's something more, you're feeling that nudging and that pulling, I want to encourage you, go swing by the KCBC and Copeland U booth. Come hear from us, hear about the school, hear how we can help you answer the call of God on your life. And we actually have a very special info session happening right now in room 114 with Pastors George and Terry Pearsons. They are the founders and the president and vice president of KCBC. You don't want to miss it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to hear from them, hear about the heart of the school and how we are changing and impacting the next generation of faith leaders. You do not want to miss it. Also, we have a book signing. So if you can't make it to the meeting, go out to KCM Central and see Terry Savelle Foy. She is ready to meet you. She's ready to sign your books and just love on you guys, meet everyone who's here. So go out there right now. She's actually right next to the KCBC booth, so you can hit two places at once. Just knock it right out.
That's awesome. And while you're out there at KCM Central, want to make sure you visit the wonderful organizations that are out there. Those vendors are supporting KCM and what we're doing, and we encourage you to go check them out as well. Now, if any of you have been blessed or affected by our disaster relief team, if any of you have been someone that we've ministered to, we'd love to hear from you about that. So stop by the partner booth and share your testimony about disaster relief with us today. Remember, our Victory Takeover is happening right now. So once you get back from lunch, come out there to the exhibit area and watch the Victory Takeover and be a part of that. So don't go anywhere. So I'll turn it over now on the network to Shay Wilbur. Shay, you take it away there. And for those of you here in the building, remember this: God loves you, we love you, and Jesus is Lord.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Victory Channel Takeover here at the 46